everybody, this is Sam, the Frugal Hooga Gardener, and I'm over here in my front yard today along this bed that I went ahead and prepped to plant some banana plants. The video's down below. I dug with my tractor, a 6 foot wide by about 100 and something foot long. Went ahead and prepped the soil with composted manure and sand and so forth, some chips. So now there's chips on top. I got to remove the chips, and I'm going to start planting banana plants. There's going to be 9 or 10 along here. So I got to remove the chips, dig a hole, and then go separate a banana plant and come back and plant it. So with that said, let me get started. Okay, so when moving mulch, I like to use a 4-prong instead of a wide rake. It removes it and moves it better. So okay, so that's how I have to remove it. So let me go ahead and spread it out and remove it, and I'll get back to you. Okay, since it's been getting real hot up into the upper 90s during the day, that's why I'm out here first thing in the morning. And I'm only going to do a couple a day when I have time, because there's no sense digging in 95, 97, or what feels like over 100-degree temperature with the humidity. So I went ahead and, as you can see, removed the chips. Now I have to dig a hole, but before I do, I'm going to remove the chips on that section right there. And you can see I leveled off the chips too, like that. When I first dump them with the tractor, I pile them up, I let them compost, and then when I'm ready, I smooth it out, and then I plant. And if you can see, there's about 1 foot to 1.5 foot of chips there. That's going to really retain the moisture down below for the banana plants, and that's what they like. So let me go ahead and finish up, and I'll get back to you. Okay, sweating already. So I have this bed here cleared out, and I have that bed cleared out. So before I go ahead and dig the holes for the banana plant, I need to go get 2 of them. Then I can measure how deep I need to dig into the compost for each of the banana plants, depending on the size. So let's go get one. Okay, so I'm in front of my ice cream banana plants, and I want to remove 2 of them. So I'm going to grab these 2 right here. Those 2 batches of banana plants over there are fruiting. They have bananas on them. I'll show you that in a second. And all these are not at the moment. So I want to take them from the plants that are not. My glasses are fogging up. It's so hot out here. The reason being is I was told once they're fruiting, don't disturb them. They might get a fungus or something, affect the fruit. I don't really know the technical detail. However, I listen to things, and these are not fruiting. So I'm going to go ahead and remove 9 of them from here, starting with the 2 where I prepared those beds. And after that, maybe I'll get more, maybe not, depends, because I'm sweating already. And what I have in front of me here is I got a bin. I'm going to go ahead and put some Clorox in the bin, like this, just a little bit. And right over here, I have some fungicide. So I'm going to rinse off my digging tools that are going to touch the corn, my cutting tools, not all the shovels and everything, just the chopping tools, in bleach. That will kill any bacteria and rinse it off and sterilize it. Then I'm going to stick it in the fungicide and chop. And once I'm done, I'm going to put some fungicide on the part where I cut it. And then I'm going to soak the roots or the corm in fungicide before I go plant it, or over there as I plant it. So let me get started. Okay, so the tools that I use, I have this right here. It's a wide chopping blade. One side of it is flat with the handle, and the other side has this here, so I'll turn it this way so this part don't hit the corm. But I could only chop and cut with a banana corm when it's not right up against another banana plant, because this will catch it. And that's the way I used to do it, besides using the shovels. Then I went ahead and purchased this online. This is a chopper. It's skinnier, and if you look, this on both sides are flat, so I could put this right down in between two banana plants that are right up against each other, and it won't gouge it. And then of course I have my shovel. I have my 4-prong to remove the chips. I have this shovel because it's angled and it lifts really well. And I have a square flat shovel because it gets in between places if I need it. So I'll get these out of the way. Leave that out. And I got a sledgehammer because it is really tough to chop. And I don't like chopping like this. I just put it on and use the sledgehammer and pound down. It gets a really nice cut. So let me go ahead and fill this up. Okay, this is, filled up a little bit. I didn't want to dilute it a lot. So I'll just take this and place this right in here. I'll just take this and place that right in there. That's in Clorox. Now over here, I got to go ahead and remove some of the chop and drop and chips and mulch so I could get to the corms. So let me get started. Okay, so I'm going to take this one and this one. So let me go ahead and remove. Okay, so I got a big one here, here, and over here. I got a sucker there, and I got two suckers over here. This is a water sucker, and this is a sward sucker. And this is a sward sucker. Okay, so every time I remove another banana plant and separate it from the parent plant, you got to evaluate the situation after you remove the chips. That way you got a plan of action. First thing you want to do is you want to look around and make sure in between there's no snake curled up, because that would be a serious mistake if you reach your hand down. Next is remove all the compost. But before you start digging, you got to look at the root system and the pups. Now, there's a nice pup here, here, and here, but down below there's a small pup there and 3 small pups here in between this one. So I think what I want to do is I want to remove this one and those 3 pups, and I'll pot those 3 pups because they're in this little cramped space. However, what I wanted to show you is, see this wide right here, see this wide leaf? That's a water sucker. See this pointy leaf over here? That's a sword sucker, and right over here is a sword sucker. Now, the water sucker and the sword sucker are all going to produce nice racks of banana plants. The professional growers, because you hear online, don't use water suckers, use sword suckers. That's because the professional growers overseas, they use the sword suckers because they grow a little quicker and produce faster. Now, the water sucker is still going to grow nicely. I have beautiful water sucker plants, and they produce nice banana plants. But the sword sucker might produce in 9 months or 12 months, and the water sucker might be 12 months to 14, 15 months. That's about it. And I've even had some produce the same, so I'm not sure exactly what the whole situation is on that. I think everybody's microclimate, area, humidity, heat, water, compost, fertilizer, all that plays into effect. Same thing with the banana racks and banana hands. Down in South Florida, people grow racks all the way down to the ground, humongous, with a lot of hands. Out here in North Central Florida, the racks tend to be a little shorter. The bananas are all still the same size, and so there's a little less hands on them. And it depends on the variety. These ice cream ones get about 10 to 15 hands on them, which is really nice anyway. And the size get pretty good. The Orinoco's tend to be just a little bit less. And also it depends, the first parent plant that produces, first generation, you know, they're a little smaller. But as that corm gets bigger, and then the new sucker takes over when you got to chop that down. When the corm's bigger, I feel they produce bigger racks with more hands. So all that's up to debate. I'm not here to debate. I just like showing people what I'm doing. The good, the bad, the ugly. This is how I do it. And if you like what I'm doing, hey, there you go. You can do it. So let me go ahead and finish, and then I'll show you how I'm going to chop this and this at the same time and pull out all those suckers at the same time. Okay, so over here, you can see I removed all of the chips out and left the compost that I need to go ahead and dig up. But before I do, let me show you. See these roots down here? Well, when I use a 4-prong, I pull this way and I don't pull sideways, because then it pulls like this in between the roots and it doesn't cut the roots off. So that's a plus for me. So let me get my other tool, and I'm going to clean this all up before I chop. Okay, so right over here, I love this little tool. It gets in between and behind, and it does a great job. And then of course just a regular little trowel. So let me show you what I do. Is I want to remove all this, so you can see this gets right in there. Boy, my glasses just keep fogging up, so what I'm doing is I'm dragging the roots and I'm getting down a little deeper and making a determination. Let me come on this side. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm loosening up the soil, pulling out so I can see where the roots are. Okay, so a lot of people are going to tell you it doesn't matter, chop off the roots, and it doesn't matter, because when I pull one of these out, when you ship a corm, you cut all the roots off, put it in fungicide, and you ship it like you cut the plant here. You just ship the corm. The main thing is, I'm just going to take these and go plant it with some fungicide on it. But these I'm going to pot, so I'm going to dip it in fungicide. But if you were to take these and you want to ship them, put it in fungicide and lay it out, not in the sun, just lay it out and let it dry. You want it to be completely dry. You don't want any moisture. And then, after it dries in a day or two, you can roll it up in paper, not plastic. You can put it in a cardboard box and ship it. It's going to live. Now, if you just take it out, wrap it up, and it's moist, it's going to get corm root rot. You don't want to do that. So let me go ahead and start chopping. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to separate this one and this one from the parent plant, but I have to cut on the side, chop on the sides to make sure that it's not connected. So I'm going to start over here. Over here I could use this one. It looks okay. Okay, so in between these two, it's real tight. It's real tight to the mother plant and this plant, so I'm going to use this other one. Okay. So now I have to remove all of the compost that's in the front of them, and so I can wobble them and see where they're connected on the back side. Okay, so quickly you can see it's a lot more work to remove larger pups or suckers from the parent plant, especially when there's small suckers in between, because you'll see online a lot of people just use a shovel and slice. I don't do it that way if I don't have to. Okay, so as you can see, once I remove the dirt out, I keep trying to get under the corm. I want to create a little pocket so I can see where the overall corm is. And then when I do this, I'm not going to pull them until I see them flexing. So it's going to take a little bit more work. So you can see why I like this shovel right here. You can see this is getting right under there now. Okay, you can see that's under the corm. So now that this is under the corm, I need to cut it away from the parent plant. And then you'll start to see these wobble and the corm will wobble. So let me get to it. Okay, so that one is separated, and a shovel would not have done it. It was hard, but I could hear it crunch off. Maybe you could hear it in that. So let me loosen this one up. Okay, when they're tight like that, I go between this way because this one or this one could be attached to each other. It doesn't have to be from the parent plant. This one feels like it's connected to that one. Okay. Okay. So I have that one and this one removed from the parent plant. And I have that back corm here separated. So now this is going to come down and the camera's there, so I have to move it. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can bring this down nice and gentle without crushing these down below. So I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to put that there like that. Turn this one over. That way when this comes down, this doesn't slam onto that. Okay, so let's see what I got. Okay, so this corm here was connected right there to the parent plant. This was connected right there to the parent plant. I cut it, it was down deep. And then this one here was also connected to the parent plant on an angle. So I got these out. I can still get that one out, but I got these pups. So let me go ahead and start separating these pups with my tool. Okay, so I have this sword sucker and I have some roots, so this is a good separation. Now I want to separate these by moving these over like this. Okay, so by moving that and that, I was able to open up the center here. Okay, now these are separated, so let me pull them out. Okay. Whew. And flip it. Notice I flipped it so this is on the top side. So let me get this one out here. Whew. Okay, I'm going to get this under it and give it a lift. Okay. So let me get this out and get this one up. Okay. Woo! Definitely hot and humid. If I was baking in the sun comes up that way, it'd be too hot. So here's this sucker and this sucker. You can see that they're coming off of those pups. This is the parent plant. This is going to be the next one to have bananas on it. So let me go ahead and just look at this area and clean it up. I'm just spreading everything out. All the roots look good. That all looks good. So there's a pup here, another pup there, and these three are pups. If I'm to plant any more, I'll come and remove this one and this one. But for now, let me bury this because I don't want the air to be on those long. And all I do is to backfill it is I take the compost first, and I pull back what I could. Now if you look at this, this is a banana root right here. Just below, you see it right here, was growing above the soil and in the compost. That goes to show you that banana plants love composted chips. Okay, so to finish backfilling this with the chips and stuff, I need to remove these and remove that compost back. But I want to show you what these look like. And I'm going to go get my tractor and put these on the tractor, because each one of these are 50 plus pounds. And why carry it to the other side of the property when I could utilize my tractor? If I didn't have the tractor, I would put it on a cart and pull it. If you want to manhandle it, put it over your shoulder, do whatever you want. But I'm going to have to hose out this dirt and then put it in the fungicide. So let me go get my tractor. Okay, so let me get these and put them on my tractor. Okay, now I want to wash that out over there. I don't want to wash it out on here. Okay, so all I'm going to do here is hose down the plant. Now, I'm just getting the dirt off of this, but you can see here, this is a sword sucker. See the point on it? When the leaves get bigger, there comes a point in time where the leaves are going to round up and you can't tell them apart. At least I can't. And this is the root. So as long as you got one root coming out and part of the corm, this is going to survive. So this is looking good. I'm just going to set this in that bucket of fungicide right there. And now I'm going to clean this up. Now this pup and this pup, I could remove them or I could leave them and plant them like this. Let's see what they look like. So all I'm doing here is cleaning up where I cut to show you and see if there's any more I should go get my spray, but I'll just do this. Now you don't have to clean it up like I'm doing. I just want to show you there's another pup here. All you gotta do is rub fungicide on that. Okay, I got my spraying nozzle, it'll be easier. Okay, let me finish up and I'll get back to you and show you the results, because I want to show you all the new suckers coming up. Okay, so I went ahead and hosed these off. I really didn't have to do that. I just had to clean off the part that I separated, and with a towel or by hand just pour down some fungicide on that. All these roots over here you could chop off, and you could chop this right in half, and you could just ship that corn to somebody. They could put it in fungicide, they could plant it, and it will grow. But what I wanted to show you was, see this sucker over here? It's growing right out of the parent plant. And then there's multiple smaller suckers coming out, which I'll show you in a minute. But what I want to do is I'm going to separate both of these, put them in the fungicide, and I'm going to plant them, because I already have some miniature ones coming out, and there'll be too many pups on there sucking energy from the plant when I plant it. So I went ahead and sterilized this, and now I could chop it or I could tap it. I rather tap it so I don't mess up. So here we go. All I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this right over here. Right like this. So I know it takes the corm off and doesn't hurt this. So let's do this. So you can see right here, I got the sucker and I got roots, so this is going to grow really nice. And this part here I'm going to have to clean up. So let me just lay this over here for now. And I'm going to do the same with this one right over here. I'm just going to take this, lay it down flat, and I'm going to whack it. Okay, so right over here, I cut the corm from the parent, got plenty of roots, and you can see where I cut it. So, what I want to do now is I want to give you a close-up and show you all the other pups that are coming in off of this parent plant, off of both of these. Okay, so let's look at this one first. This is where I just cut off that pup. I'm going to clean this up a little bit and then sterilize it. So now if I turn this way, right over here, you can see this little node coming out. That's a pup. That's a sword sucker or a sucker. And right over here, that's a pup, which is a sucker. So there's going to be two coming out of this one. This is where I separated it right here. And you can kind of see it was connected a little bit up, but this is where it was growing. That's how close it was. And this is where I cut straight down. So I want to sterilize this whole area with the fungicide. So now if I flip this over, right over here, you can see this here is a root system that was coming out to another pup. So I would think that this here is a corm like this, and it's going to grow a pup. And right over here you can see here's another sucker coming out, and here's a little bump starting right here. So as you can see, out of this one right here, there's already new suckers coming out that's going to be turned into pups. So I'm going to hose this off and sterilize it more. But let's look at this next one. Okay, so this one right over here, you can see this is where I separated the pup. Here's a sucker coming out. Now if I turn it, right over here, you see this? This is another sucker coming out, which is going to be a banana plant. And if I turn this over, right over here is a sucker coming out. That's going to be a banana plant. It looks to me like another one's popping out right there. Another one's starting to come out here. There's one starting right here. And this is where I separated it. So let me go ahead and clean these up. Clean those up. I'll show you how I go ahead and use the fungicide on them, and then we'll go plant. Okay, so I have these pups in the fungicide. I cleaned them up, and now I just want to clean this up. So I'm just going to take a towel right here. I'm just going to go ahead and put fungicide on it like that. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over. I'm going to take this. You can see the fungicide's getting on all that. Just like that. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to clean this one up right here. Now I'm going to turn it. And this whole area here is already clean. So I'm going to take the fungicide. I'm going to wipe it right here like that. Let me turn this all the way over. Okay, I want to get that good. Get all this. You can see just dripping on it. That's good. Now you could do those as much as you want. You could actually lift it up and soak it in that. But as long as you got the, you don't even have to do the fungicide, but then you're risking getting a corm rot fungus that will pass on to everything and it'll die. So take precaution, just some fungicide, put some on there. It's already working. So I'm going to go take these and put them in the shade on my porch where the sun's bright. That way they start drying, and then I'm going to go ahead and plant these, and I'll get back to you. Okay, so I went ahead and dug this hole out. I measured the depth, and now I want to go ahead and plant it here. Since there's a corm here and over here coming out, I want the corms to start coming in this way and not that way, because that's where my tractor goes. So I want to face those this way. So one other corm over there. So, okay, so corm there, there, and there. And there's none on this side. That's where I separated it. So now I'm just going to go ahead and fill it in. Okay, so basically I planted it. Now I got to pat it around, soak it in with water, and then put the chips back over it. And when a leaf breaks like this, just go ahead and you can just let it lay down like that. You can take a few off if you want. You could go ahead and cut this like this if you want, and they'll grow. It just depends what you want to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this up, and then I'll show you how I dig the hole on the next one, and we'll plant that one. Okay, so now I'm going to move these chips around, just leave a little spot so I can wash it down. Okay, consider this one planted. I just have to water it. The chips are going to hold the moisture in. So let's go plant the next one. Okay, same as that. I got a marker. It's straight in line. They're measured out 10 feet. And then I got enough space there so the tractor could go along the fence line and out and around. So let me plant. Okay, that's about the depth. So let me get this and we'll plant. Okay, so I got a sucker here, here, and over here. And this is the side I separated. Okay, so that's out with that marker. That's straight this way. Let's go ahead and bury it. Okay, this is planted, it's packed down. I'm gonna put the chips back and then I'm gonna get the water and water it in. But that's how I separate, sterilize, and plant my ice cream banana plants, or any banana plant. Basically the same process. I got a lot of videos below of different ways, hugelkultur and everything like that. So let me get with it. Okay, so I separated and planted these two. Let me go get some water and water it in, and that's all I need to do. Now when I water, I take the hose and I stick the hose down in the dirt. That way it takes out any air pockets and washes all the compost in between all those roots that you see me wash off over there. Especially since I washed the roots. If the dirt was still around it, I wouldn't have to do it that much, but that's an important step. Don't skip on that step or you can have root rot. Okay, almost done. So what I done was, I got a couple buckets from my tractor from the pond, watered them in. They were a little wobbly because it's not compacted yet. So I went ahead and cut off a lot of the leaves on top so there's less drag when the wind blows. And I took the leaves and I put them on the bottom to use as chop and drop. Put the mulch back around, compacted it. I'm going to go get some more water. Then I'm going to step on those leaves and pack it in even more. So they got plenty of water. They're covered with mulch. They got less drag on top. And the strings are holding them up. I got 4 strings with rebar so they can't blow in either direction. And if you look at my flag, hopefully that's in the image right there. It's blowing, and that's the amount of drag that would be on these, because I live down by the ocean and there's a lot of wind. So until those roots take hold, and once that water sets in and everything compacts down in there, it'll be a nice solid base. But for right now it's a little mushy. So hey, this is Sam, the Frugal Hugel Gardener. I hope you enjoyed my ice cream banana plant separation from the parent plant, the explanation of the pups and the suckers and how to separate them, how to defungalize them so they don't get root rot, how to prep, how to dig, how to plant, how to support, how to trim. Hey, you know what I'm talking about. If you like that, show me your love, give me a like, subscribe to my channel. Come on over and visit me at Facebook, join my Facebook group. We'll talk to you soon.